The upcoming video is provided through free early access of The Sims 4 for Rent expansion pack from the EA Creator Network. I'm Jason Sterling. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Jason Sterling, and this is it. This is The Sims 4 for Rent expansion pack, as we can see right here on the screen. We're going to jump right into this today with a couple of Sims I've already pre-made. I've gone through this pack just a little bit, kind of play testing a few things, kind of learning how the mechanics work a little bit. Now, this is Velma. That's just a name I made up. Normally, I try to go with more of a cultural name since we are supposed to be in Southeast Asia. In this case, with a sort of test sort of pack like this, I just pulled something out of thin air for her. Now, the way I'm going to come across with this pack is we're going to do a lot of gameplay. The real meat of this pack, the real cake of this pack is the rental property, the ability to be a landlord or a tenant in a multifamily property that you build and own yourself, right? Right. So we're going to start with Tia Velma, with the idea that she has inherited well, my first thought was she inherited an old hotel from a dead aunt, right? And she wants to change that into a 5-star apartment kind of complex. Now, I thought it might be more fun, though. Let's build it as we can afford to build it. So she's going to start with just $20,000 like anybody else in game, right? Any new sim. And we're going to build what we can from the start. We're going to build what we can. My goal is to build an apartment for her on this property and 2 additional apartments for income, and then expand it over time so that we end up with hopefully 4 to 6 apartments, lobby area, and a large market area, which we'll kind of go into as we get into building. And we are going to jump into building here in the middle of the night in the game, right? 10:48 p.m. in the game. We're going to build mode here. It's pretty easy to build these apartments. I've done just a few little bits of, kind of, like I said, play testing type stuff just to see how it works. It is pretty easy. You're going to build just like you normally build. So if I was going to build an apartment, I'm going to do kind of a, let's say a 6 by 8 efficiency kind of unit, a studio sort of unit in this case. We are going to ultimately have larger units in this building, but to begin with, I need 3 apartment units outfitted with kitchens, baths, and a bed for less than $20,000. So we're playing it close, Now, so we've got kind of an entryway here because, again, the idea was that this was originally kind of an old hotel, maybe with, this would have been an entrance to the lobby, and then with parking off to the side, right? We're not quite there yet, but that's where we're headed. This space here is going to be for stairs. I don't know if I actually need 3. Let's do 2 across. So this space here is for stairs, and it'll be our entrance to our apartments here because this old space, this old sort of lobby area is going to be our owner's apartment, right? / office for this development. So this is where she's going to live. Now, in the case of these upstairs units, as you can see, we're going to put in a balcony for each of these units that are upstairs, or each of these sort of sections that are upstairs. As you can see, again, also, I'm laying this out as though it would have originally been a hotel room because the idea was that she inherited an old hotel here on the beach, right? Here on the beach, luxury hotel. From like maybe the 1920s or something. And as you can see here, we've got our basic outline of our general hotel. Now, this will be 4 stories tall when we're done. Again, we're building with the money we have on hand. We're not doing anything beyond that. Okay, now down here on this first floor, you're going to see here, we have a big open space off to the side, which originally, in my thought and the way I'm playing the game, this would have been for parking, right? But the idea was that you would have parking slots here and then all the way down, really. I'd kind of like to do them Now, what we're going to have with this build, of course, coming up is a market area down here, sort of market stall. That spills out a little bit onto the sidewalk. We'll have a street here up front. And we'll go ahead and we'll put a cover over our parking area. Okay, for our roof, we have actually some great new roof pieces. I'm going to, I'll pull them out here in just a moment. But what we're going to do while we can't afford those is we're going to build our own roof, of course. This sort of roof style is free. It's free of charge. So we're going to build our own sort of roof style here. We're going to bring it out just a little bit. We're going to try to dress it up a little bit with, you know, an angle, right? Something for it. Let's go take this piece here. Actually. And there we have the beginnings of our roof. We are going to go ahead and use this roof trim from the new pack because there is no cost for it. It is free of charge. So we will go ahead and do that to add a little bit of detail to this and kind of give us an idea of where we're headed. So that is kind of our general structure, right? We've still got $9,600 left to spend here. As far as 3 beds, 3 kitchens, and 3 bathrooms go, wish us luck. And then we're going to, and doors. We need doors and a stairwell or staircase. So we're going to put that in real quick. And then we'll look at outlining this stuff as rental units. Okay, so right now this is going to be the door into her unit right here. This is going to be the door into the building. Thank God these don't cost very much. I did think about using this, but this is $450. This is $450. This is $50. Which one do you think I'm going to use when I have a budget left of $8,500 so far? We're going to use the cheap one, but that's fine. It looks really good. And maybe as an upgrade later, we will put on this, much more sophisticated door with a locking sort of screen that goes across it. To say, hey, look, we put in security. Oh, and, we're increasing the price of the unit. Sorry, had to do it. Had to do it, you guys, because now it's worth more because we have security. So we're going to take that out there. That'll net us some money back. That is kind of a little bit of not really a build trick, but something you might want to know if you are short on funds. When you're building and you put in a staircase, take out the wall under the staircase. As you can see, we just netted back $880, I think it said, or something like that. So $880 is kind of a lot. So, keep that in mind. I cannot afford fancy things like windows, I don't think. So we're going to have to kind of go without windows. I mean, hell, we can barely afford to put a light into these places. We'll see though. I mean, if I end up having a lot of money left through some miracle, I won't. But if I do, then I will try to put in maybe some windows. And we're going to put it there. The one thing I love real quick, let me show this. I saw this earlier. This is the cutest thing ever. So this is the baby's version of the squat toilet, right? The toddler's, little learning toilet, practice potty as they call it. This is the baby's first chamber pot. And so I absolutely adore that. I basically want to add a toddler to this game, and I'm going to as soon as I have room, as soon as I have an apartment that will accommodate it. I am going to add a family to this game with a toddler just so I can put that little toddler chamber pot out someplace and see how the toddler uses it. The last thing we need for this space is going to be a bed. So we're going to look through here. We're going to grab something cheap again because we do not have much money. This is way more expensive, so we're not going to use that. We're going to grab, that's what comes with the new pack. It is a nice bed. Instead, we're going to take this one here, the Varnish bed, and we're going to slide it into place here in this sort of little sleeping alcove. And this is her apartment, okay? This is what we're starting with so far. We're going to, like I said, we're going to see how much money we have left here in a little bit. But what we're starting with so far is what you see. What you see is what you get. One thing I am going to do real quick is I want to go through here and put in some sidewalks. And I'll tell you something I'm going back and forth with. Originally, I thought about putting the mailbox here. And I'm still kind of leaning that direction. Either that or over here. On one hand, I feel like there should be an entrance from the stairwell into this apartment. I also feel like later when I turn this into a proper lobby and communal area for this apartment building, I'm probably going to take this wall down so the stairs are open to this space, and I don't want a mailbox right here. Right. Okay, as you can see here, I basically just went with a sort of mirror image of each other with the apartment's basic bathroom, which is open to the rest of the house to save money on walls. I could probably go ahead and wall that in. We do appear to have enough money to do that, but I don't think I will. I think I'd rather put in some windows or some sort of doors or something up here onto the balcony. So we're going to do that instead. We also have no flooring, no wall covers, anything like that. Once we get this done, okay, and we get all the rental units lined out, I'm going to move my other sim in. I have two sims here. This one, Tia, and another sim named, what did I name him? Brian. Brian is moving in. And we're going to follow both of their stories. So we're going to follow Tia here as she develops her apartment complex. We're going to follow Brian as he becomes a writer and he lives here and how they interact with each other and the other residents. Ideally, I also would like for Brian to run a stall down here in the market. Now, I will do that once this is not an early access pack, once this is not an alpha copy of this pack. I will have access to all my packs, and I'll use Home Chef Hustle to build him a stall down here where he can also work and, sell food and stuff, right? Okay, so here we go. Here are the window options that we have for this new pack. There's quite a few. As you can see right off the bat, there are quite a few window options here. I think that one's only 65. That one's 40, 30. Not bad. I mean, the prices aren't bad. We definitely can put in some windows now to give it a little more livability, right? A little more livability. Whew, decisions. Let's go ahead and leave this. Let's leave them like this. Let's put these particular windows in as the windows we're going to use for the front of this build. Those look almost see-through. Are they see-through? Do they actually have windows in them, or are they just grills? Shutters, tall. It may be that those are supposed to be open like that, and when it rains, you pull the shutters. There are some other windows kind of like that, like this one here, to give that idea of, let the breezes through. This is a tropical environment. It's pretty much always, well, not pretty much. It is always warm there. So maybe that's what that is to imply. I don't mind that per se. I will say this is one thing I've kind of had a problem with the world so far and with the builds I'm seeing from the world. They're all very retro, right? There is no modern skins to any of this stuff for a modern Southeast Asian look. And a modern Southeast Asian look is different from a modern American look. It's not entirely different. It's not like they're from another planet, but they have their own style and they have their own take on things from a modern perspective as far as modern architecture goes. And I really would have liked to have seen some of that in this pack, and I'm not. But as far as this goes, I do want this to be an older build. So fine, but that's just my thought on it, my take on it. Let's throw in a couple of doors up here for our tenants. We're going to put in a door here. Okay, so what I did here was I went ahead and raised this up just a little bit to give it the impression of a curb, because we'll put a street along here. We'll grab some of this, blacktop here, and this will kind of act as a street type of zone that maybe would lead, past the front of the hotel where you could get dropped off, and then the valet would bring your car back here and park it in the covered parking lot. So all in all, based on what we have here, this is not bad. This is not a bad start to building our apartment complex. We have 3 units. Now they're pretty bare, right? I mean, it looks a little unfinished, but we do have them going, and we can put 3 families in here, or 2 rental families and the owner. So let's set these up as rentals down here a bit. We want to set the area by rooms. So you go here to this control. This is assign all rooms to this unit. This is unit number 3 of Tam Nang Sands. It should start with unit number 1. When I was playtesting through here earlier, I will say I did go through and build 3 test units to see how we assign these units to a build. But then later I went through and I took all of that out, and there was no owner of this lot, but apparently that's a residual left over. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, but it's kind of odd. It is a little bit of a glitch. I'll probably drop a note about it later. Now, this is just for this unit. So each unit, you can set the traits and challenges just for that particular unit, which we'll come up to here in a minute. The challenges available that we have right now are essentially with base game in this new pack. Mold, if you want to die, and off the grid lot. So off the grid is, no utilities, right? Maintenance troubles are what you would add to a lot if it was just a residential lot, just a house, but you want it to have the same troubles as an apartment complex can develop, right? A multifamily unit complex can develop. So if you want it to have plumbing issues and electrical issues, then you would apply that challenge to a standard single family detached residential unit. Hope that makes sense. Right now, we are going to assign the rooms for this unit. Now, this unit, we're going to assign this space here. Yellow, you can see it has yellow, so it's reading all of this as part of the yellow unit, basically everything. And until we assign otherwise, it will continue to do that. We're going to assign this as part of it. Let's see here, to that unit, right? Then we're going to take this area and we're going to make that shared space. And we're going to take this area and we're going to make that shared. We'll make all of these columns shared as well, just for the sake of realism. Now we're going to go up and we're going to change this unit into create a unit. Number 2, we're going to make it unit number 2 here on the top floor. We're also going to add the balcony to unit number 2. It should be blue. You can kind of see the blue outline there, right? And we're even going to take this space kind of off the edge here that's not really usable, but we're going to turn it also into part of the blue unit. In theory, later, then if we want to make it wider or we want to put something out here for some reason, that will belong to that unit. This space needs to be turned into common area, shared area. It should be, it should be unit number 1, and that's another number 3. That's a little bit of a glitch, but can we change that? We can. Okay, so we can change it like this. Okay, so there we go. That fixes that. Even if it is a little bit of a glitch, it's pretty easily fixed. You can change this to any name you want, and I guess that's good because if you don't like this name that came with it, you could go in and change it to a name that suits you. For now, I'm going to leave that name alone. We might change it later, but for now, I am going to leave it alone, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that to that particular unit, the pink unit. We're going to add this to the pink unit, and we're going to add that to the pink unit. You'll see there are some particularities when it comes time to remodel these units. You either have to switch over to the person that owns it to do the remodeling. Sometimes you can go through the world map, but that doesn't always seem to work. And if you would just evict them out to remodel it, like the whole building, you can have some issues come from that, because if you do an unjust eviction, then you can get charged a fine by the city and your ratings can go down. Now, one way around that, and we'll probably come across this again in the future, is you can just go into the create a household screen, grab that particular family and move them. And then that doesn't count, or I guess you could maybe just go in and play as that family and move them. Then that doesn't count as an eviction, right? If they just decide to move. But sometimes if they decide to move, they could be breaking the lease. They have to pay a penalty for breaking the lease. So if you don't want that family to have to pay that, or if that family doesn't have that money, go through the create family screen. What is that called? The manage households option from the world screen. Go to the manage households option. grab that family and through that screen move them someplace else. Okay. So right now we have our apartments marked, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and get our other sim, Brian Robbins, and we're going to move him in. Well, first, let me, I think I've got to set values for the apartments first. So let's go here. Buy residential rental. So we're going to have her buy this place. Aha, I almost forgot. She hasn't actually bought this yet. She's just standing there. She technically was a renter. So we're going to go through and buy this place, and I hope I can. Can I? Will this work? No, because she doesn't have enough money because I spent all the money building it. Oh, no. Okay, I screwed up. Okay, so I should have built it first like this and then had her come and buy it with her $20,000 as a new sim. I moved her onto the lot, and I didn't buy it as a rental first. I think I moved her in as a renter. That's why it already had that yellow apartment. Because I did just move her there, and it was a rental lot. And so now in order to buy it, even though I used her money to build it, she's got to pay for it all over again. Okay, so, okay, now one thing we can do is we can go in real quick using cheats, and this is what I'm going to do, and we're going to just cheat her back the money she needs to buy the building. So there she goes. Now she's got it, 20,000, right? She's got 20,000. We're going to buy a residential rental. We're going to go here to Tomarang. And we're going to buy this place, right? And it's $19,120. So we're going to buy that. We're going to buy it furnished. That leaves us $880 left to feed ourselves until we start some money rolling in, until we become super rich. As a bastion of uber capitalism, we're going to take over the world. We are going to own everything, or at least as much as we possibly can own. And we are going to be maniacal and bastards. We're going to be bastards. And we're going to we're going to put people to the grindstone, take all their money.